I used to believe that marriage meant partnership, that no matter how difficult things became, the person you love would stand by your side with respect, even if the world laughed at you. But the night my wife mocked me in front of her wealthy friends, something inside me broke, and what I discovered after changed everything I thought I knew about love. It was a Saturday evening at one of her friends' lavish parties. The kind with sparkling chandeliers, expensive champagne, and designer dresses worth more than my monthly paycheck. I wasn't comfortable there, but she insisted I come. "You need to loosen up," she said earlier that day with a dismissive wave, as if my hesitation was just another flaw. The conversations at that party swirled around real estate investments, vacation homes in Europe, and businesses worth millions. I stood quietly, sipping my drink, letting her shine in her element. That's when one of her friends turned to her and asked casually, "And what does your husband do?" For a brief second, I expected her to smile proudly and say something simple. "He works in corporate," or "He has a stable career." Instead, she smirked, her eyes flicking toward me with a sharp edge. "Oh," she said with a mocking laugh, "he just works in a pathetic cubicle all day, typing, filing, spreadsheets, the usual boring nobody job." The group burst into laughter. Expensive jewelry jingled as they tossed their heads back, champagne glasses clinking as if my life's work were nothing more than a punchline to a joke. My wife didn't stop them. She leaned into the mockery, smirking wider, enjoying their approval, as if humiliating me boosted her worth in their world. For a second, my chest felt like it had caved in. I wanted to walk out. I wanted to scream at her. But instead, I smiled faintly, pretended to laugh along. I played the role of the harmless, ordinary husband who didn't mind being ridiculed. But inside, I promised myself one thing. The truth always comes out. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her laughter replayed in my head over and over. And yet, beneath the anger, there was something else, a nagging suspicion that this cruelty wasn't just about appearances. Something darker lingered beneath her need to tear me down in front of her friends. A week later, I found the proof. I had left my phone charger home, so I used her laptop in the living room to check some work emails. When I opened the browser, her social media account was still logged in. I didn't mean to snoop, but a notification popped up at the top corner. A message from a man I didn't recognize. The preview froze me in place. It read, "Last night was unforgettable. Can't wait until you're mine without him in the way." My blood ran cold. My hands shook as I clicked into the conversation. Dozens of messages spilled out. Her confessions, her promises, her bitterness about being stuck with a man who has no ambition. She told him she was only with me because I was safe, that her real future was with him. The same woman who mocked my cubicle job in front of her friends was living a second life behind my back. The laughter that cut me so deeply now made sense. It wasn't just mockery. It was contempt. She had already checked out of our marriage. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I waited. I went to work as usual, kept my silence, and let her think everything was fine. Meanwhile, I spoke with a lawyer. Quietly, I began untangling our finances, protecting what little savings I had. I wasn't going to explode in anger. I was going to leave with dignity. Then, yesterday it happened. She showed up at my office unannounced. I was in the middle of reviewing a report when my secretary knocked and said, "Your wife is here." I felt a strange calm wash over me. When she walked in, she didn't look like the woman who had mocked me at that party. Her eyes were puffy, her voice shaky. She sat down across from my desk, wringing her hands. "I'm sorry," she whispered, staring at the floor. "I shouldn't have said those things in front of my friends. I didn't mean it. I was just trying to fit in with them. Please forgive me." I studied her, the weight of her betrayal pressing hard against my chest. Part of me almost believed her, almost wanted to, but then I remembered the messages, the way she laughed while others tore me down, the nights she came home late with excuses that suddenly made sense. So I leaned forward and said calmly, "You didn't come here to apologize. You came here because he left you, didn't he?" Her head snapped up, her face pale. The silence between us was louder than any scream. Her lips trembled, but no words came out. I nodded slowly. "I know everything. The messages, The nights, the promises you made to him about leaving me. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she shook her head, whispering, "It's not what you think." I was confused. "It's over now. I want us back." But it was too late. The woman sitting in front of me wasn't my wife anymore, at least not the woman I had vowed to love. She was a stranger who had mocked me, betrayed me, and then came crawling back only because her better option disappeared. I stood up, straightened my tie, and said with a steady voice, "I may work in a cubicle, but at least I know what loyalty and respect look like. You lost both the night you chose them over me." She reached for me, begging, sobbing, trying to grab my hand. But I walked past her, each step heavier than the last, yet strangely freeing. Today, as I sit in the same cubicle she mocked, I feel lighter. My job may not impress her friends, but it's honest, it's steady, it's mine. And unlike her, it doesn't betray me. Sometimes the cruelest betrayal isn't just cheating. It's mockery, contempt, the stripping of dignity. But sometimes the sweetest revenge is walking away quietly, leaving them to face the silence they created. And as for her, she may have smirked once at my pathetic cubicle, but now she'll never step foot in it again.